Welcome to Science and Technology Briefing. The content of the briefing includes China's electric cars reinvent the wheel for good, finding the right fit, why breasts are still a taboo topic in sport, and what we can do to protect them. TSMC's $8 billion Japan chip project steams ahead as US site hits snags. Evenly balanced risks means lower commodity prices, but robust volumes, Russell. Tom Hanks warns of dental ad with an AI clone. China's electric cars reinvent the wheel for good. Reuters breaking views. Chinese automakers, particularly BYD, are starting to overtake traditional car manufacturers both domestically and internationally. Tu Lu, an industry consultant, explains that BYD has gained an edge over its rivals due to its ability to adapt quickly to changing market conditions and its strong government support. Additionally, Lu argues that Tesla should be considered a Chinese carmaker, as a significant portion of its sales and production come from China. Finding the right fit, why breasts are still a taboo topic in sport, and what we can do to protect them. ABC. Breast health and support for women in sports needs to be addressed, according to Australian experts. Associate Professor Deidre McGee, Director of Breast Research Australia at the University of Wollongong, is researching the impact of breast injuries on athletic performance and physical activity levels. She is calling for sports bras to be included as part of a player's uniform kit rather than being expected to be purchased by athletes themselves. McGee also believes that physiotherapists and medical practitioners need to be better equipped to identify and treat breast injuries. TSMC's $8 billion Japan chip project steams ahead as US site hits snags. Nikkei Asia. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, is set to start installing equipment at its new chip plant in Kumamoto, Japan this month. The $8 billion plant is on track to begin production by the end of next year, and may even be ahead of schedule. TSMC has sent hundreds of support staff to the site and will soon be joined by hundreds more from TSMC suppliers. The company has trained over 300 Japanese staff in Taiwan and has also sent several hundred experienced employees to Japan. In contrast, TSMC's plant in Arizona has faced delays and production has been pushed back to 2025. The divergence in progress between the two plants is due to several factors. Japan has better chip industry infrastructure than the US and has been more prompt with government support. Japan has already provided $3.5 billion worth of subsidies for the TSMC project, while the US has only just finalized its support package. Additionally, Japan has a strong chip supply chain and a working culture that is more accepting of long, grueling work hours. Evenly balanced risks means lower commodity prices, but robust volumes, Russell. Reuters. Australia's government has predicted that commodity prices will continue to fall, impacting the country's earnings from exports. Despite an expected increase in volumes for most exports, the earnings generated are set to decrease due to uncertainty in the global economy and China's recovery being softer than expected. Iron ore, Australia's most valuable export, is predicted to see earnings drop from $124 billion Australian dollars, $78.8 billion in 2022 to 23 to $99 billion Australian dollars in 2024 to 25, despite export volumes increasing. The same pattern is expected for coking and thermal coal, as well as lithium, a key material for battery storage. Tom Hanks warns of dental ad with an AI clone. South China Morning Post. Tom Hanks and Gayle King have warned fans about ads featuring imposters generated by artificial intelligence, AI. Hanks shared an Instagram post showing an unauthorized digital version of himself promoting a dental plan, stating that he has nothing to do with it. King also posted on Instagram, sharing a bogus video clip of herself promoting a weight loss product she has never used. Safeguards against AI being used to replicate screen talent were a contentious issue during a recent writers' strike in Hollywood. Generative AI programs have raised concerns about the creation of deep-fake pictures and videos. U.S. raises concern with Peru over Chinese control of infrastructure. Financial Times. The U.S. has expressed concern to Peru about China gaining control over key parts of the country's infrastructure, including the electricity supply to Lima and a new megaport on the Pacific coast. Chinese companies have been acquiring power, mining, and port assets across Latin America in recent years, but the scale of Beijing's investments in Peru, along with their strategic position, has caused particular concern. The Peruvian government has been criticized for failing to sufficiently analyze the benefits and threats of these investments. Washington has suggested that Latin American countries create committees to vet foreign investment in strategic sectors for national security reasons. Secretive billionaire McPike sues over collapse of SPAC deal. Financial Times. Harold McPike's family office, RE Capital, has accused Jason Ader of fraudulently inducing it to back his Special Purpose Acquisition Company, SPAC, 26 Capital Acquisition Corporation. REMA Capital alleges that Ader used the $25 million it invested in the SPAC for his own personal purposes, including repaying his mother $16 million. Ader faces a growing number of legal issues after his attempt to merge 26 Capital Acquisition Corporation with a casino business in the Philippines owned by Japan's Universal Entertainment failed. The dispute between McPike and Ader highlights the potential risks and losses associated with SPACs, as well as the large windfalls that sponsors and founders can receive prior to completing a merger. SPACs have come under scrutiny recently due to concerns about inadequate due diligence and shareholder protection. Who's Who FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried's fraud trial. Financial Times. The trial of FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried, accused of fraud in relation to the collapse of the crypto exchange, will see him reunited with his former colleagues Caroline Ellison, Gary Wang, and Nishad Singh. Bankman-Fried, who founded FTX in 2019, has maintained his innocence and has sought to tell his side of the story. Ellison, the CEO of FTX's sister firm Alameda Research, and Wang pleaded guilty to fraud charges and agreed to cooperate with prosecutors. Singh, the former head of engineering at FTX, pleaded guilty to fraud and campaign finance violations. The trial will be closely watched as one of the most high-profile cases in the history of cryptocurrencies. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the sixth dimension, here to bring you the latest news from around the world. Today, we have quite an eclectic mix of stories, from the reinvention of the electric car industry in China to the importance of breast health in sports. We'll also take a look at the progress of TSMC's chip plant in Japan, the decline in commodity prices in Australia, the rise of AI-generated imposters, concerns over Chinese control of infrastructure in Peru, the legal battle surrounding SPACs, and the upcoming fraud trial of FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried. Now, let's dive into each of these stories and see what we can uncover. First up, we have China's electric car revolution, spearheaded by companies like BYD. It seems that Chinese automakers are overtaking their traditional counterparts both at home and abroad. How did they do it? Well, it's a combination of adaptability and strong government support. BYD, in particular, has been quick to adapt to changing market conditions, giving them an edge over their rivals. And let's not forget about Tesla, which should be considered a Chinese carmaker in many ways, given its strong presence and sales in China. It's an exciting time for the electric car industry, and China is leading the charge. Moving on to a more sensitive topic, breast health in sports. It's surprising to learn that breast injuries can have a significant impact on athletic performance, yet it's an issue that is often overlooked. Australian experts are calling for better support for women in sports, including the inclusion of sports bras as part of a player's uniform kit. It's a small change that could make a big difference in preventing injuries and ensuring the well-being of female athletes. Let's hope that this issue gets the attention it deserves. Next, we have TSMC's chip plant project in Japan, which seems to be steamrolling ahead while its US counterpart faces delays. The difference in progress can be attributed to several factors, including better chip industry infrastructure and more prompt government support in Japan. It's a reminder that infrastructure and support can make all the difference when it comes to large-scale projects. And speaking of large-scale projects, Australia is bracing for a decline in commodity prices, despite an expected increase in export volumes. The global economy and China's recovery are causing uncertainty, leading to lower earnings from exports. It's a challenging situation for Australia, but they're not alone in facing this issue. Now, let's talk about the dangers of AI-generated imposters. Tom Hanks and Gayle King are the latest victims of deepfake technology, with unauthorized digital versions of themselves appearing in ads. It's a reminder that we need to be cautious and vigilant in this age of advanced technology. And it seems that the US is also expressing concern over Chinese control of infrastructure in Peru. Chinese companies have been acquiring key assets across Latin America, and the US is urging Latin American countries to be more cautious and vet foreign investments for national security reasons. It's a delicate balance between economic partnerships and national security. Moving on to legal battles, we have the case of Harold McPike and Jason Ader. McPike's family office is accusing Ader of fraud, highlighting the risks and losses associated with special purpose acquisition companies, SPACs. This case sheds light on the need for better due diligence and shareholder protection in the world of SPACs, which have recently come under scrutiny. Last but not least, we have the upcoming fraud trial of FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried. This trial is set to be one of the most high-profile cases in the history of cryptocurrencies, and it will be closely watched by the industry. Bankman-Fried has maintained his innocence, while his former colleagues have pleaded guilty to fraud charges. It's a complex case that will undoubtedly have far-reaching implications for the crypto world. And there you have it, a whirlwind tour of some of the most interesting news stories of the day. From the reinvention of the electric car industry in China to the importance of breast health in sports, there's always something fascinating happening in our world. Now, I turn it over to you, my dear viewers. What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you have any questions? I'm here to listen and engage in a lively discussion. The floor is yours. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.